What is going on, everybody? My name is Gavin L. Reeves. Today we'll be trying to fix a battery on a smartphone. And so this is a Huawei. I don't know how to say it. All I know is it's a Chinese phone. I've worked on this phone once before. This is actually for a client, and I had replaced the screen. And funny enough, one of the Honor phones, they sent the screen for an Honor phone for this phone, and it actually worked. So we're gonna hop right into this. I think I've got everything here. This is gonna be the battery. This is going to be a toolkit that it came with, and this looks like it's some type of adhesive to, I would assume, to adhere the battery to the phone. So let's go ahead and get started. I like to keep all my screws in one place. The way I do that is a magnet, and that magnet will just keep everything positioned right. Now we're going to use a pentalobe screwdriver. This is a pentalobe screwdriver, and funny enough, these are the same screws that iPhones use. So if you have an iPhone or you work on iPhones, it's the same exact pentalobe screw. So we're going to go ahead and take that out. There's going to be two in the bottom there, and once those are out, pretty much everything should just pop right out. You're going to be careful of the screen itself. And so we're going to go ahead and work our way around that with this little pry tool, and maybe this, they call this the guitar pick. Taking that guitar pick and work our way around the bezel and just pop away that screen. So that is something that I had forgotten to do, was take the SIM card out. So I'm going to take whatever this piece of thing is here that's just laying on my workbench and go ahead and pop that out. So we're going to pop the SIM card out. Just make sure you do that beforehand. So with that out, the back separates from the rest of the phone, a lot like the old iPhone 4s. The back, the way to access this is from the back. We can go ahead and see the battery here, but we still have a little bit of work to do. And the first thing we're going to do is just go ahead and take everything apart that we can, that we have to take apart in order to get this. Now, something to note, this phone's already been apart, and so it has no adhesive around the outside. However, if you're taking apart a phone for the first time to replace the battery, there's most likely going to be some adhesive around the edging. You can use a blow dryer or a heat gun if you've got one, but use it on low, and just heat that up. You don't want to get super hot. If you touch it, if it gets slightly uncomfortable to keep your hand on it, that's too hot, because you will damage the LCD. So just keep that in mind. Just assessing this while we look at it, there's a little nick right here. This phone was actually previously ran over. And I had straightened out this aluminum backing. I believe that's aluminum. And so I would assume that's from that damage, from running it over, because there's no way that could happen otherwise. But other than that, it looks pretty good in here, pretty clean. But we're going to go ahead and continue to disassemble this thing. And so we're going to start by taking this apart here. I'm not sure which cable is the battery cable. I'm doing this pretty blind. I don't know anything about this phone, honestly. So these are just Phillips head screws, and these screws inside of this phone are exactly the same. Thank goodness we don't have to deal with that. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get these covers off. I've already taken off the screw off of this one. It should just pop right off, just like that. And I'm going to remember where I set that and where it goes. And I'm going to go ahead and pop this off. Now that the back is disconnected from the phone, we're going to set that aside so it doesn't get damaged. We're going to have to disconnect this, but we're going to wait until we get this metal bracket off here. So with that one off, we know exactly where that goes. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect this wire here and disconnect this one here. This one connects the bottom board to the top board, and I believe this one right here to be the battery cable, and I would be correct. Now, with that, we have everything out of the way. We don't have to disassemble it anymore. The battery is right here, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at our battery right now to make sure it's the right battery. With it out, I can go ahead and look at it, and it looks like it's going to be limited voltage 4.4 volts. That should be right. rated voltage 3.82 volts. I'm just lining these up. The model number should be the same. Just make sure of that. The only thing that's going to be different on here is going to be perhaps the manufacturer. The print is different as well. They just changed manufacturers in China quite a bit. But the main thing is going to be the date. So this one says 2018, 9/28/2018. This one says 7/12/2019. And to this date, it is 10/10/2019. So this is a much newer battery. This one, though, we believe is just damaged. So there is adhesive on the opposite side of this, but you got to be really careful. So I'm going to heat this up just a little tiny bit. But since I know we've got a good battery to go in there, I'm not going to really care about it. I'm just going to rip it on out of there, being careful of the frame. But I don't want to heat this up too much because we don't want to disrupt or interfere with the LCD that's on the other side, the touchscreen that's on the other side, which the touchscreen connects to the frame. So we don't want to heat it up too much or else we're going to mess up that screen. But we're going to go ahead and heat this up a little bit. You could use a hairdryer, a heat gun. I'm going to use a heat gun on low and just heat it up just a little bit, and then we're just going to muscle it on out of there because we really don't want to take apart the screen again, and we don't want to heat it up too much to where the screen would get messed up. That's all I'm going to do. I don't want to do too much. Also, this is a lithium-ion battery, and they're kind of sensitive of heat, so we got to be leery of that. So I'm going to go ahead and try to start from the side. I'm going to continue to use these tools that they provided me with just to say that it is possible to do it with this. Now, a lot of the newer phones, they'll have pull tabs. A lot of the iPhones, Galaxy, Samsung products, the higher-end products will have pull tabs on the battery, so then you can go ahead and replace them. So I can go ahead. I can hear the adhesive start to break, and I'm just going to wiggle the screwdriver back and forth to go ahead and break some adhesive strands in certain sections, being mindful of the frame that the screen is also connected to, and because I don't want to bend that or break that, as that would be very bad. But just trying to release this this adhesive. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that, and I'll get back to you when I'm done. So with that, we got the battery out. Now, since I just poked and pried at it, this battery is actually pretty dangerous, and I shouldn't really be holding it, but nonetheless, what these batteries are composed of is a bunch of lithium layers. So this outside layer is just going to be a protective layer. Why don't we just go ahead and open this up? This is probably really stupid, really dangerous. Don't do this at home. But I'll go ahead and show you. There's going to be different layers of lithium. You got a black layer and then a silver layer. And the way, I think it was some Galaxy phone. Remember, we had those big, the worry of fires and stuff like that. What those were was what would happen is the ends, the connectors, the connector on the end, the solder joints were bad, and so what it was doing was getting these pieces of lithium that is shown right there together and sparking and creating a fire. And so that's what we have to be leery of right now, because I just destroyed this thing. So that's a lithium battery. Thank goodness we got a new one, and we'll go ahead and get that installed. Now, I don't think I'm going to worry too much about this adhesive here. If you want to, you can take it off. I'm not going to. It's not worth it. But I am going to go ahead and install this 3M tape, which is pretty impressive, honestly. China's given us 3M tape here. And as you can see, it's too big. So cut this up and line this up in the same pattern as what they have here. And we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, and with that done, we can go ahead and stick our battery in there. Now, if you don't have tape, or your kit doesn't include tape, or you just got the battery, all you need is a pentalobe screwdriver and a flathead and a Phillips head, and you're good to go. However, my kit did come with some tape, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. But if you didn't come with tape, you could heat this up again with your hot air gun or anything of that nature. or you could just stick it on there and not worry about it. We're gonna put it in the same exact way that the other one came out, which is just like that. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and give it a firm press all the way in there along those tape lines, and like that, we're good to go. So we're gonna go ahead and install this side cable first on the opposite side, on the right hand side. When you're looking at it, for you guys it's going to be opposite, I can almost assure you that. And then we're going to go ahead and do the other one, and you got to make sure they're lined up, and then it's just a firm press down. So I just pulled this one back off because a lot of times when you're replacing batteries, they'll actually come with a plastic film that I did not think about or remember, so I wanted to make sure that wasn't on there to protect that cable while in shipping, but it doesn't work while in the phone, so I wanted to make sure that wasn't on there. So I went ahead and pulled it off and checked it again. But now we're going to put these metal shields back on, and go ahead and put our screws back in there, which our handy dandy magnet has put in there. You can also use, I've also used an ice cube tray before, and that actually works pretty well with holding parts, especially when the screws are a different size and different head type. But we're going to go ahead and put these two metal brackets back on, and I'll get back with you. With this bracket back on, we got to put this bracket back on, but first we got to put the attach the fingerprint scanner back again. Be careful of this one because it is quite fragile, and it's easy to mess up. So we're going to go ahead and line this one up and snap it on in there. With that on there, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys that on these metal pieces, there are generally little metal slots, and this is on all phones I've ever dealt with. They have these. I guess it's just, I don't know, just secure it more. So this one actually has a metal slot here and here, and it's going to go ahead and go into this metal piece up in this corner and this metal piece here. So with this one, I start on this corner, go like this, and then it just slides in just like that. It's super easy, but if you don't know they're there or don't realize it, it can really be a pain in the tushy. Screw that back on. With that, we do one last look over, and we realize that everything is good to go. So let's go ahead and close it back up, I guess. Like I said, this phone had a little bit of a run-in with a car the other week, so it's a little bit mangled. However, it's the same exact process for every phone, almost every phone. Usually you slide the top in, just like this one. You slide the top in, make sure that's in all the way, and it looks like it's flush there. And then you're just going to push down on all corners, and it should snap in pretty well. And once it's in, we're going to go ahead and put that screw back in. We'll pop our SIM card back in, and we'll give it a try. So the bracket on this phone, one of the brackets for the bottom screws, these pentalobe screws, broke off whenever it was ran over in the last repair. So one of them goes in. So yeah, this one goes in. So the screw, it only has one screw. However, with it back on, we should be able to try to power it up. Let's see if the battery has power stock, which it does. So we got Huawei or whatever it is, powered by Android on an on-air screen. It looks like it's powering up right now, so that's great. So we got this repair done and fixed. Thank you for joining me. This has been Gavin L. Reeves. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and hit the bell icon to stay notified of all my videos. If you have any comments, suggestions, or concerns, leave them in the comment section below. With that being said, have a great day. God bless.